Okay, welcome to the boardroom. Let's dive right into this explainer and execute a complete C-suite grade proposal audit. Today, we are going to audit exactly what separates a standard, middle-of-the-road B grade from a premium, top-tier A-star valuation in the Cambridge AS and A-level Arabic Language 8680 syllabus, specifically focusing on Paper 4, 3 questions on different texts. I want you to completely shift your mindset right now. Think of your exam paper not just as a standard academic test, but as a high-stakes business pitch to a board of extremely critical investors. In this scenario, the Cambridge examiners are your board of directors, and let me tell you, they are not easily impressed. They reject poorly framed proposals and weak data structures instantly. Their marking grid is essentially an executive value meter, ranging from a $0 Band 5 liability all the way up to a $1 million Band 1 A-star asset. Over the course of this boardroom session, we are going to systematically break down how to pitch your arguments to this board using bulletproof structural frameworks, precise data analytics, and corporate-level evaluative reasoning. If you want that maximum valuation, you need to think like a managing director. So let's get down to business. We are kicking off our audit with this exact question, pulled directly from the principal examiner reports. Why do candidates consistently struggle with terminology? Well, failing to distinguish key terminology in Arabic is the very first major liability that instantly tanks candidate scores. It's the equivalent of walking into a multi-million-dollar merger without knowing the difference between revenue and profit. To really visualize this, I want you to imagine two junior consultants pitching to our board. Let's call the first one Alex. Now, Alex provides massive volumes of raw factual data in his response. He translates the Arabic text perfectly, he absolutely understands the general gist of the narrative, but he completely fails to use precise academic terminology to evaluate the author's actual intent. He gives us the what, but not the how or the why. What happens? The examiner's valuation of that paper immediately crashes. Then we have Sam. Sam is a fast speaker, a highly creative thinker. He pitches brilliant creative concepts about the stimulus texts, but he lacks hard asset backing. He doesn't anchor his creative ideas to specific textual case studies or rhetorical formulas. Both of these associates are failing to secure the deal. You simply cannot secure top-band works if you are using casual, everyday vocabulary to describe complex rhetorical devices or thematic structures in Paper 4. Academic precision is your primary asset. Without it, your pitch is bankrupt. Here is our executive briefing agenda for today's session. We'll look at the A-star difference, our core assessment objectives, the standardized sequence, mastering critical evaluation, and finally, those crucial principal examiner warnings. Let's move into Section 1, Core Assessment Objectives. This is where we build your structural framework. If you look at the data tickers on the examiner's screen, you'll see they are tracking 3 specific cognitive domains, or assessment objectives. You must demonstrate high-level competence across all 3 of these slices, not just basic knowledge. Look at the first slice, knowledge and understanding. Think of this as your seed capital. It gets you in the room, it shows the board you actually comprehend the Arabic text you've just read. But honestly, seed capital doesn't win the market. The second slice, analysis, is your operational strategy. It's how you deconstruct the text into its component parts. But that third slice, evaluation, that is your market dominance. That is where the $1 million A-star valuation lives. If your entire essay is just hovering in that first slice, simply repeating what the text says to prove you understood it, you are pitching a remarkably low-value asset. You're just giving the board a summary, and they already read the text. They don't need a summary. They need a structural breakdown of why the text works.
Now, we need to deconstruct a real liability proposal. What's the ultimate academic benchmark here? The board heavily prioritizes analytical depth over superficial breadth. Let's go back to our junior consultant, Sam. Sam's response is pure superficial breadth. It reads like a descriptive, unstructured text block. He lists 20 different surface-level things he noticed in the passage without analyzing a single one of them. He's throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. That is a massive valuation trap. Missing a single keyword in the Cambridge command prompt triggers an immediate valuation drop because you end up rating a descriptive block instead of an analytical pitch. The examiners want analytical depth. They are looking for logical, structured, evidence-based reasoning. They would much rather you take 2 or 3 profound points from the Arabic text and drill down into them with laser focus. You have to back up every single claim with hard textual asset backing. Don't tell me 20 things the author said. Tell me 3 things the author did, how they did them, and why those specific choices manipulated the reader's perspective. That is how you drive up your executive value.
Moving to Section 2, the standardized sequence, which we like to call the method mark strategy.
In the corporate world, standard operating procedures are put in place to prevent catastrophic errors. In paper 4, your standard operating procedure is exactly how you accumulate your method marks step by step. Top-tier responses follow this exact 6-step standardized sequence to ensure absolutely no potential marks are left on the table. Imagine Alex and Sam backstage, trying to merge their assets to create the ultimate joint venture answer paragraph. They're debating the structural architecture right now. Alex is trying to overload the opening with heavy technical dictionary definitions to show off his vocabulary. Sam is fighting to pivot immediately into an analytical counter-argument framework to maximize their return on investment. I have to step in and tell them, follow the sequence. Step 1, deconstruct the question. What is the explicit command word? Step 2, extract relevant data from the stimulus materials. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Step 4, execute with clear notation. Step 5, verify your results against the prompt. Step 6, present with correct terminology. If Alex and Sam miss Step 1, if they misread the command word, their entire joint proposal loses market compliance instantly. You must execute the sequence flawlessly for every single one of the 3 questions. During the execution phase of that sequence, your data interpretation skills are absolutely critical. You have to draw evidence-based conclusions from the Arabic stimulus texts. To do this, you must master the triad: extract, interpret, and conclude. Let's watch Alex and Sam rewrite their core thesis statement live to meet compliance standards. Originally, Alex just extracts. He lifts a quote from the passage and drops it into the essay. The board rejects it. Why? Because that's just extraction. You must then interpret the relationship between that extracted quote and the author's wider purpose. What is the subtext? Finally, you conclude. You draw a definitive, evidence-based conclusion that ties directly back to the exam prompt. It's a precise supply chain of logic. Raw Arabic textual data goes in, and a refined, highly valuable analysis comes out. If you break this chain, your argument falls apart. Let's advance to Section 3. Mastering critical evaluation. This is how you secure the deal. Okay, before we push this response through to see if it secures that top band valuation, we need a mid-pitch valuation reboot. I need you to ensure your personal academic assets are properly managed. So do this right now. Subscribe to Ace the Exams at the handle @AceTheExams and turn on all notifications. No matter if your focus is Cambridge IGCSE, O-Levels, AS, or A-Levels, this channel is your weekly board seat to secure elite grades. Ring that bell, lock in your assets, and let's get back to the audit. So, true evaluation, what is it? It requires you to actively interrogate the evidence quality and understand its limitations. Evaluation is absolutely not just saying this text is written well or the author is very persuasive. That is descriptive, low-value commentary that belongs in band 4 or 5. True evaluation is a rigorous audit of the text. What assumptions is the Arabic author making about their audience? What are the inherent limitations of their argument? Are there alternative interpretations of a specific metaphor they used? And crucially, how do those factors affect their final conclusion? You have to step outside the text and judge it objectively. You are the auditor, not the author's public relations manager. Let's look at how Alex and Sam are doing. They've just hit a massive structural roadblock, mid-paragraph. Their evidence beam has completely lost market compliance because they forgot to evaluate. To fix this, I'm handing them a structural power-up template, the deconstruct, solve, evaluate loop. Let's rewrite their response out loud line by line to transform it into an A-star asset. First, identify the given information. We state the author's primary claim clearly. Next, break it into logical steps using a framework like PEL, point, evidence, explanation, link. We make our point. We provide the evidence from the Arabic text. We explain how that evidence functions mechanically. Now, to solve systematically and check reasonableness, we introduce our evaluation. We say, however, the effectiveness of this rhetorical device is limited because, or an alternative reading of this phrase suggests. Finally, we make a justified recommendation, linking it all back to the core question. That loop takes a weak, descriptive paragraph and engineers it into a bulletproof, high-yield asset. This quote comes directly from the Cambridge framework, and it proves exactly what we just did with Alex and Sam. The theoretical foundations of this syllabus demand that you actively challenge the text rather than passively accepting whatever it says. Read that again carefully. Questioning assumptions, considering different perspectives. The board does not want a summary of the text. I cannot stress this enough. They want an auditor's report. When you actively consider a different perspective on the page, you are immediately signaling to the examiner that you are a high-level critical thinker, and you elevate your essay right into those premium valuation brackets. We are now in Section 4. Principal Examiner Warnings. Time to run the liability scan. To protect your overall valuation, we are going to conduct a live, interactive compliance audit based on the most common pitfalls documented by senior examiners. I'm putting a 60-second mental countdown timer on your screen. I want you to spot the liability in your own past papers. Every single year, thousands of candidates leave millions of potential marks on the table because they trigger the same regulatory breaches. Here are the top 3 mistakes that will immediately crash your score. Number 1, using the wrong approach for the context. You cannot blindly apply a rigid, pre-memorized essay structure to an Arabic text that demands fluid, nuanced analysis. You have to adapt to the data in front of you. Number 2, forgetting format and presentation. If your essay structure is chaotic, if you don't use paragraphs, the examiner cannot follow your logic. Your pitch is incoherent. Number 3, and this is the deadliest sin of all, providing answers not specific to the given context. If you walk into paper 4 and write a generic, pre-rehearsed essay about Arabic literature that doesn't actively, surgically dissect the specific stimulus material provided on that exact exam paper, your valuation drops to 0. Your answers must be hyperspecific to the texts on the desk in front of you.
Here is an official examiner alert, and it links right back to our opening question about terminology. This is your asset inventory scan. Examiners absolutely mandate that you define your terms early to secure your structural compliance. If you are going to base an entire paragraph's argument around a specific linguistic feature, a stylistic choice, or a complex thematic concept in the Arabic text, you must define exactly what you mean by that term in your opening sentence. Do not assume the examiner will guess what you mean. Setting the definition early establishes the exact parameters of your argument. It proves to the board, right out of the gate, that you are in complete control of your academic assets and that you know exactly what you are talking about.
Look at that! Our executive value meter has just hit the maximum $1 million A-star mark for Alex and Sam's newly engineered paragraph. So how do we replicate this? We can distill this entire boardroom methodology into 3 core corporate pillars to ensure you execute a flawless presentation on exam day. Pillar 1, the due diligence scan. This is your decoding phase. You must meticulously read the prompt and the Arabic texts, extracting the precise data needed. Pillar 2, the resource allocation matrix. This is your timing. You have 3 questions. You must manage your time across them ruthlessly. Do not overinvest an hour into question 1 and leave yourself bankrupt with 10 minutes for question 3. Equal resource distribution is key. Pillar 3, the final compliance audit. Always leave time at the end to review your work. Check your essay against the prompt. Did you use precise terminology? Did you actually evaluate, or did you just describe?
So, the choice between settling for an average grade and securing an elite top-band valuation is now entirely up to your execution of these frameworks. How are you going to approach your very next pass paper? Are you going to passively describe the text like a junior associate, or will you step confidently into the boardroom and execute an A-star evaluative audit? The structural tools are in your hands now. Before we adjourn this session, I need you to do one last thing. Hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exams at the handle @AceTheExams. Enable the notification bell so you never miss our weekly board sessions, and drop a comment down below right now stating your target grade, your qualification tier, and your subject. Put it in writing. Commit to the audit. Keep analyzing. Keep evaluating. And I'll see you in the next explainer.